Welcome back to Cunt.
Welcome back to Corey in the House. This week, Donald Trump diddles Corey. Corey doesn't know what to do. Corey makes up ice cream and everyone lives happily ever after. The end.
Dude, I had to read what I sent you. I was like driving and I remembered that story about my teacher or whatever in Disneyland and whatever.
Oh yeah, I wrote this down.
I was like, whenever I have to do anything like other than my GPS or music with my phone while I'm driving, because it's up on the dash, I have to very quickly squeeze the home button, and then I go like, Siri! It's very excessive.
So what is the story?
Oh, well, because I'm a cunt, and I used to, I think it was like sophomore year, I had Mr. I don't think it matters if I say his last name, Mr. Allwine, or maybe
yeah.
He was an algebra teacher.
That's who I thought of when you said Disneyland, because he was he was very interested in Disneyland.
He had I don't remember when it was, but he would sometimes show us a slideshow of like all the pictures he's taking while he's in Disneyland.
It's a lot, yeah.
With his wife. And one day he's just showing them, and I guess for some reason, because I'm a monster and the worst person on the planet, I'm sitting close to him, like there's a table close to him, and everybody's just sort of gabbing away. And I say, like, do you have any kids? And then he said, no. And then he goes back to looking at the slides. And I was like, why do you go to Disneyland? And then a bunch of people laugh. And then this big dude named DJ, who Yammin, you might remember, he was a huge, really athletic dude, played football.
Maybe if I saw him.
Okay, well, he was upperclassman, but he was in my class. And
was he stupid?
No, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I was stupid. Maybe that's the stupid class. But he leaned in really close while he was laughing. And he was like, "You're a fucking asshole, man." Because that was a huge cunty thing to say.
That was pretty cunty. It was like, big loser.
I don't know why the fuck I even said that. This was back when I have those 3 pictures on my phone of me when I was like a fetus, and this was fetus days, Patrick.
Were you trying to like tear this man down, or were you genuinely
No, I just
curious?
thought
Allwine was awesome. Nobody
He was.
He was awesome.
He was very nice, and he passed me even though I didn't deserve it.
The nicest of teachers.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't fail me for that comment. That was so fucking mean.
I'm pretty sure he went home and like beat his fucking kids because of that.
But also, I think
he doesn't have
stupid.
any.
Oh no.
It's okay.
He went to Disneyland. He beat up Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
He doesn't have kids anymore because Mickey took him.
He like went home, impregnated his wife, had kids, just to take out his anger on them.
God, imagine if he heard this.
He's
I love you, Mr. Allwine.
What's he gonna do? Like give you a failing grade?
Go to Disneyland?
I don't know. Stop it.
He's gonna follow you at
He
Disneyland.
was like the most normal, like kind teacher, and I was just like, I'm funny.
You destroyed him. You absolutely.
It was like I have like a mop on my head, basically of hair, and I have mom jeans on, and this shitty sweatshirt that I wipe my nose on. I'm just like, do you have any kids? Why do you get to do that? The shittiest, awful kid.
You were like what I imagine most people who like post on 4chan look like, but in real life.
Yep.
And you are also.
I think about this a lot, but I don't deserve to look like this. I've thought about this a lot. My personality combined with this makes me such a cunt in so many ways. Because people will be like, oh, he looks nice. Maybe he is nice, but nope. He's got a very inviting smile. And I'll be like, I don't want to talk to you.
It's funny, Patrick, because I met you right at the tail end of your mop-headed like phase, and then you
that's when I started looking like a douchebag.
Like from summer to summer, you transitioned into like an Adonis, and I was like, "This is weird." This kid was like,
it was odd.
Yeah,
it was very weird. It's just because I hated myself. There was no like, all right, I'm gonna do something, to better myself. It was just like, I'm gonna do this because I fucking hate everything about me.
That's how I lost my weight.
That's how you get it done.
You just hate yourself so hard
Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer were doing their weight loss competition. They're 2 comedians. And he was just like, everybody on Twitter, tell me I'm fat and ugly so I have more motivation to go to gym. And people did it, and he lost the weight.
Do you get that motivation? Well, in your case, was that
were
people telling you would look like a fucking nerd, or is that just something you felt
people
about
told
yourself?
Me that I was skinny. People still do it, and it keeps me going to the gym.
Damn. Okay. Because obviously there's like a whole online, like other people would argue that giving people negative reinforcement is a bad thing, and telling them they're fat
it
doesn't
is.
help them.
It's terrible. It's like heroin. It's like I want it, but it's also really bad for me. Like that's what makes it hard for me to receive compliments now. That's like half the reason that when someone says it's like, "Oh, dude, you're looking good," and I'm like, "Shut up, you're lying," because I know I'm so used to the idea of someone just setting me up for a joke, where like someone be like, "You're looking good, Patrick," and I'll be like, "You're fucking lying," and they'll be like, "I mean it." It's just like, "No, you don't."
Well, it's like some fucking
You take it back.
It's like bullying
Take it back.
PTSD.
As I lift him up by the collar.
Take it back, you bitch. I'll make you. But because obviously, if you think back to who is that girl on the cover of Cosmo, the plus size model that started that whole controversy or whatever. Yeah, so she speaks out about this a lot and saying like, telling people to lose weight and not be fat isn't a great motivator for them to not be fat, But apparently in some other people's cases, it's working as a self-improvement cause. So,
yeah, because it's just coal on the fire of self-hatred.
Yeah, it probably doesn't come from like a good place. Like it's not the healthiest.
It's not
way to lose weight, but it has worked for you guys. So I don't like. Do you think it could have been as successful if people were like positively reinforcing you? Like you were just like, oh yeah, I want to get fit.
No,
not at all.
In my example, Patrick had been positively reinforcing me for the longest, and that didn't motivate me until I decided that I hate myself enough to do it. That's what got me to start losing weight.
Yammin, I did. Well, maybe I didn't know you early enough, but I didn't know you had like a weight problem at all or anything.
Yeah, I lost 20 pounds.
Oh, that's good.
In like a month.
He was totally
in a month,
fine, but this is something he wanted to do.
Yeah.
I guess.
Wait, so what did you do exactly? You go to the gym, you change your
Stopped
diet?
eating sugar.
That's smart.
So like the first week I did exercise and I was like, blech.
Sucks.
And so I downloaded an app that tracks everything I put into my body, and I started eating less and eating healthier, but more eating less.
Wasn't that like?
Yeah, it wasn't very healthy, but it was for a month. I knew when to stop. I had a goal and I told myself I was going to stop, and I did when I hit that goal.
90% of weight loss is what you eat.
Yeah, that's the thing people don't really realize.
Oh man, yeah. The two biggest things for me was cutting off dairy products and and switching to diet or 0-calorie sodas. Yep. And those are the two things that I've stuck with. I haven't cut off dairy, but I don't get 2% milk or fat-free milk. I get almond milk now, and Coke Zero, Sprite Zero, Diet Pepsi, Diet whatever. Those are the drinks I get.
I don't remember where I heard this from, or even if it's the same thing that I've remembered. But if you take a regular, like normal Coca-Cola, not diet or anything, the sugar in that is more than you need in an entire day. Like that's ridiculous. It's like an addiction that you develop, and I had it for a really long time when I would just spend my money on chocolate that I would order from Germany.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what I did when I worked as a lifeguard with you. It was just like I ordered like blocks of giant chocolate and I would eat it and play Destiny 1. That's my entire life.
That's fucking insane, dude.
That's one of the reason I would get like the lip acne that people think was like herpes.
That's insane. I had like kind of a same inclination where I was really into like milk chocolate bars for a while. But I got one of those gigantic ones from the grocery store and I like ate half of it, threw up, and I was like, I'm never eating like this shit again. And it worked, so. The same thing happened to me with marshmallows as a kid. I would like pound marshmallows straight from the bag as a kid.
I hate marshmallow. I hate
marshmallows. Are pretty.
Marshmallows.
I like Peeps though. Peeps are good.
Peeps are.
I hate marshmallow consistency.
It's kind of gross.
It's like
I like it when it's combined with the Hershey's and the graham cracker. That combo is great.
Maybe with other stuff, like I'll allow it, but like I just can't eat a straight up marshmallows.
People who like consistently like take when they go camping, like take graham crackers, chocolate, and marshmallows to make s'mores. S'mores are like the most messy thing for such a really very little like payback. It's just like this, like it's good, but it's like this is a lot of fucking work. We had to set a fire. We had to buy all this crap.
We had to come out into the woods.
Couldn't we have just done this like on your grill, man? No. You got to come out in the woods. You gotta marinate in that natural forest air.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say something about. Oh yeah, so I can't. Yeah, I'm like thinking the same way where I wasn't trying to like lose weight per se. I was just more like trying to like eat healthier and like go to the gym and stuff. And I was going to the gym like a lot, like 4 times a week at least. But like diet is like the biggest thing. And the problem is that I can cut out sugar just fine usually. Like that's not a problem for me. I don't drink soda already. I don't have that issue. But dairy and like full fat,
it was
like
the hardest
milks
thing.
and stuff,
It was the hardest thing.
I can't do it because I love cheese.
Cheese, man.
I put cheese
I
in
tried,
so
dude.
much.
So I knew going into it that I would have to find alternatives, because if I just told myself, okay, no more soda, it was going to be impossible to stick to it. So I told myself, okay, I got to find something to drink when I want soda that isn't soda. I have to find something to eat when I want cheese that isn't cheese. And I found an alternative for fucking everything except cheese. There was nothing. There was nothing to
no
replace it.
alternative,
I
dude.
just had to cut it out.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Like even now, like I've tried almond milk and I'm like, I could like replace this with real milk if I really want to, but then like the next time I have a glass of cold milk after like anything I eat, it's the most incredible tasting thing in the world. And I was like, I can never replace you. I'm sorry. I ever thought
You
about
really
this.
You fuck with a glass of milk?
I do.
Yeah, I
really
don't drink. The
Neither
only
do
time
I.
I know
have
some people.
milk,
I know a lot of people don't, but like
it's
I
with
really
other
fuck with it.
stuff.
Yeah, I love straight up milk.
I've
dude.
always like my whole thing when I was really trying to gain weight back in high school, like the most weight I've ever gained was like those last 2 years of high school where I was just eating egg sandwiches, tons of chicken breasts, and chocolate milk. Chocolate milk is my fucking like whole thing in the
Chocolate
world.
milk's just
I'll
like
make
sugar, though.
like till it's tar. It's but I mean for me, I was looking for that fatty weight that I was trying to gain, and I did. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
That's not at all a recommendation for diet. Don't do that.
or like
It worked for me out of like sheer magic, but I doubt it would work anyway.
do not
John,
take
what are you doing?
any of this advice. He's planting like a bomb underneath your table right now for you to defuse
I'm plugging
later.
in my charger. Thanks for bringing attention to it.
Oh,
I
hey,
was like,
that's cool.
I mean, that's my room, so I was curious.
Wait, Yammin, so you mentioned you had a work story that you wanted to mention that you refused to talk about.
Oh man!
So I'm gonna give you your
oh
moment.
man! Oh man! Oh man!
Here
Okay.
we go.
Here we go. So, it was on Saturday, and a customer came in. She picked up her cake. She had ordered it a couple days ago. Birthday cake. Looked great. She took it. Gone. Great. A few hours later, I get a phone call, and she goes, "The cake's the wrong flavor. It's not white chocolate." And the first thing that goes on in my head, which I don't say out loud, I go, either you didn't ask for white chocolate, or you're a dumbass and it's white chocolate, because that's not a mistake that we make. So I say, "What's your name? Let me find your ticket." I find her ticket. It says white chocolate. So I'm saying, "Are you sure? You know, we cover it with a layer of buttercream to do the design. Are you sure it's not white?" She's like, "I'm sure. I'm positive." And I go, "Hold on. Let me call the baker," because the baker's left at this point. I call him, describe the cake, and he's like, "No, I remember making that cake. That's white chocolate." Tell her the baker says he's sure, and if she's not convinced, have her bring it in, and then you can taste it. I tell her, of course she's not convinced. She says, "Yeah, I'm gonna bring it in." So at this point, I know it's gonna be trouble, because what is the best case scenario here? She comes in, lets me taste it, and I go, "Yeah, that's white chocolate," and she goes, "Oh, okay," and then leaves. Like, that's not gonna happen. Like, it's not. So like, she shows up. It's me and this other dude who bakes with us. And I take her cake to the back, and I taste it, and he tastes it, and we're like, "It's white chocolate."
Doing like scientific experiments on it.
No, we taste it, and we go out, and we tell her it's white chocolate, and she starts arguing, "It's not, it's not, it's not." She's like, "We've had white chocolate before." I'm like, "We make the white chocolate. I don't know if you know that." So we got her a slice of our white chocolate mousse cake and a slice of her cake, and had her try it to show her that it's the exact same cake. And she was at first she wasn't convinced, and she was like, "Okay, it is the same, but it's drier. It's this and that. I don't know what." So I call the manager, and he's like, "Okay, leave the cake here if she really doesn't want it, if she thinks something's wrong or whatnot, and have her take a cake from the showcase to take back to her party." Even though I didn't want to do that, because we didn't do anything wrong. It's literally exactly what she wanted. I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'll tell her that." And so I tell her that, and she's not happy. She wants to talk to the manager, wants to talk to the manager, wants to talk to the manager. So
Did she have like a short blonde haircut too?
no, these were no, she didn't. I'm just gonna say that. It was a lady and her mom,
Okay.
and like the lady was older than me, and the mom was like really old, and the mom was the one that was all angry, and it got to a point where there were no other customers, and it got to a point where we were just yelling at each other. Like there was no more like we're yelling at each other.
Oh my God.
After I had offered her I told her, nothing is wrong. It's exactly what you wanted, and we've offered to give you another cake if you really don't want this one. We're just yelling at each other. And at one point she goes, "Shut up." And then I go, "Okay, do you want your cake? Because we still have it in the back." I say, "Do you want your cake?" And she's still yelling when I'm like, "Have a nice day." And I walk into the back and I let her yell from outside for a minute or two. That's when the coworker goes out, and he's sort of like the second guy. He's like the one that's supposed to calm everyone down.
Good cop.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of like when you tell someone something and they're like, "No, I want to talk to the manager," and the manager says the same thing. Yeah. And you're like, "Oh, well, okay." So he goes out and he's the second guy, and he comes back and he's like, "They're just going to take a cake from the showcase." And I'm like, "Of course they are. Of course. They just had to yell and get me worked up before they do the thing that I offered in the first place." They take their cake back. They take the cake from the showcase and they leave. And that was the end of the situation.
Took both?
They took both. I know.
What
and
a fucking asshole.
I don't think they should. I don't think they should have. It's what the manager said to do to defuse the situation. So that's what we did.
God damn.
She would have walked away with fucking nothing if I was running the show.
I know.
Patrick, you would have fucking decked her face into the cake.
Dude,
also,
it was
I
ridiculous.
hate fucking people when they yell at me. If you yell at me, I'm never talking to you. That's like, we're done with the conversation. It's over.
That's it. I know. I was trying to keep calm. It got to the point where we were yelling at each other, and she said the words "shut up," and I was like, this conversation's over.
What were you yelling at her?
What did this person look like? I need to know what they are in my brain.
So they were Ethiopian customers, a middle-aged woman and her mother, like an older mother, and she was like, "I paid for this cake. We gave you exactly what you paid for." And we just went back and forth, and she said the word "shut up," and I was like, "Do you want your cake back?" Blah, blah, blah. She kept yelling, and I just walked into the back and let them yell. Oh, I left out an important piece. She walks into the back, into the kitchen area, and I'm like, "You need to leave, or I'm calling the police." So like, yeah, she walks around the counter in like
she
to the kitchen area. Yeah. And I'm like, "You need to leave, or I'm calling the police." And she's like, "I'm gonna call the police." And I was like, "Dude, why, please? It doesn't make sense." So she heads back out.
Crimes.
She heads back out, yeah. And then the other dude goes out, and he's like the mediator, and it was just a ridiculous situation. See, the thing is, one, there were no customers, which is why I would have never acted the way I did if there were other customers around. And two, we were completely in the right. There are times where it's like, okay, this is mostly your fault, but I see how, okay, we'll fix this and whatnot. Like, oh, the blue's too dark. When I said dark blue, I didn't want dark blue. And it's like, okay, we'll see what we can do about this. But she was literally like, "It's not white chocolate." She brought it. It was white chocolate. And then she still wanted to talk to a manager or something. It just blew my mind. Like, I was talking to the manager on the phone. And he was like, "So what does she want?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't know.
She was to
I
own
don't
the
know
store.
what she wants. I don't know at this point."
So after you scientifically proved to her that they were both indeed white chocolate, she just like kept going on and on.
She kept going, yeah. Then she started saying, "Oh well, the cake is different. Like the actual sponge is different." And I told her we use two kinds of sponge. One for the vanilla, like the regular cake, and the chocolate cake. So like it's the same. It has to be the same. So if it's the cream that's different, that's a different story. Even though the cream is not different. But if you were saying that the cream was different, it'd be a different story. I just had to like break down how we made the cake. Like I had to break everything down to her to show her it's the exact same cake. And then she was like, "It's kind of dry and it's different. It's different." It was the same exact thing.
What the fuck? Did you what were you yelling at her? Did you call her like a stupid idiot?
No insults. Like explaining to her loudly.
Just trying to talk over her like a normal person.
Yeah, as she yelled, talked about she paid for the cake. She said the party was ruined. First of all, they had eaten like half the cake. This wasn't like they took a few slices and went, "This isn't right." They ate like half the cake already. Okay? And then they brought it back and they were like, "This isn't right."
Took you half the cake to figure that out?
Yeah, I know.
I bet this is some bullshit. This is some absolute
I know.
Trying to grab some new cake.
Some new cake or a refund or something.
Well, they got double cake, so it's fucking whatever.
Yeah.
What did they end up grabbing from the showcase?
A white chocolate. It's a white chocolate.
What the fuck? Cake. Why?
I don't, because they wanted it the right way, apparently. Because the way their cake, it wasn't the right way.
That's so infuriating because she spent fucking however long explaining to you how the cake that they ate half of was trash, but they took it anyway.
Yeah. It was more infuriating when, like, I knew it was gonna happen. I just can never figure out why. I knew that when the dude went out, they were gonna settle for the exact offer that I made them. They were gonna take the cake, like the cake from the showcase as well, and leave. When he came back and he was like, they're just gonna take a cake. I'm like, of course they are. Why would we sit there yelling for 15 minutes if they're just gonna take the cake?
That's like they talk about this with telemarketing, how someone who's frustrated will call in, and then the first person they talk to, they'll end up arguing with, and the person will, like, the telemarketer will be like, I'm sorry, sir, but I can only give you what you've ordered, or something like that. And then there's like, I want to speak to somebody else. You're unreasonable. And then another person who's identical gets on the line and goes like, I'm sorry, but I can only give you what you ordered. And the guy was like, oh, that's completely fine. I totally understand. The other guy was a fucking psycho, though, and I want you to have him fired. What?
Yeah. So when she was like, what are we going to do about this? Like, I was confused because in my head, like, nothing, you should take your cake and leave, but that wasn't going to satisfy her. So I told her, so this was on Saturday, I told her, you can either, leave your cake here, the manager will be here on Monday, you can come back on Monday and he'll have gotten an understanding of what's going on, and then we can go from there, or you can take your cake and a cake from the showcase now and be on your way. Because I guarantee you, if you come back on Monday, he's not going to give you a refund. He's not going to give you any extra cake because nothing is wrong. Those are your choices. And I said that while yelling, of course, because we were
yelling. I'm yelling at you.
Yes. God. So that's that.
God, wait, so the lady, it was the old lady that was yelling.
Yes. Yeah. Mostly.
Did the other lady, was she kind of like embarrassed to be there? Was it one of those situations
where
you're like,
she wasn't. She wasn't happy. She wasn't happy, but it was almost like she was She was like, we're not going to get anything here because we're in the wrong, but I'm still going to look angry because I'm supporting my mom. Like, that was the kind of vibe I was getting from her. Yeah.
I have a feeling like you got scammed. Like, this was part of a scam. A scam to get another cake.
Yeah, I mean, if the manager was there, or if they had come in on Monday, they would have gotten nothing. They would not have gotten any kind of refund or compensation, because for what? Everything was right. Everything was exactly what they wanted.
Yeah,
and I feel like they were in too deep to just say, "Oh no, you're right. It was white chocolate, and nothing's wrong with it."
Yeah, so. Like after their initial complaint was totally busted down, they were like, it's the wrong sponge." I was like, "You fucking idiot! What do you want?"
We have two types of sponge. It's the right sponge, so it's down to the cream now, and you've literally tasted. We got you a slice of each, and it's the same cream. So what else? Next BS, so I can shut it down real quick.
This reminds me of.
I ended up closing late because of them.
So many scarring experiences I've had with both my mother and my grandmother at restaurants over the years when I was a kid. And to this day, I still get like nervous when I go to a restaurant with my mom. And she even says anything to the waiter. I'm just like, Mom, please just order your thing. Don't say a word. When you get your food, don't make any fucking like noise. Don't,
don't make any noise.
Like my mom gets it from my grandma too. Like I don't know what it is about like Venezuelan women who need to like make this poor service person's life a living hell, because like I remember my grandma literally got into a fight with like the manager. Like it escalated from like our waiter to the manager to trying to like diffuse things, and then we ended up all of us getting kicked out of the restaurant. Like that's how that story ended, all because my grandmother didn't get the right kind of like wine marsala sauce she wanted on her like pasta that evening.
Oh my god,
it was fucking scarring, and that's why I'm super not confrontational. If you spit in my food, I probably won't say anything. Like I do not ever complain to waiters. Like 99% of the time, I will never do it.
I have such low standards. Like, just bring me my food. Like, you could do it in an hour, and I'd still eat it.
Yeah, same.
Right.
My dad is like that, though. Exactly like that. Like, he'll complain about anything. I remember once we were in, I think it was like Virginia Beach or something like that. And he was already angry because that's who he is. And he got a steak or whatever. And then we were done with our food. My food was awesome. It was like the shrimp Alfredo. Everybody else was having fun eating their food, not really talking much because we hate each other. And he finished his steak, and then the waiter comes over, and he gives him the business about how it was terribly cooked because He likes to remind everybody that he used to be a chef.
He ate the whole. Wait, he ate
Yeah,
the
he
whole
ate the whole
thing?
steak. Of course he did. But it's like that was terribly undercooked, and blah blah. He paid the check and we left. But it's like so embarrassing. Just like you're in like we're all attached to him, and that waiter's mind is like that whole family gave me the fucking business.
Yeah.
God
awful.
damn.
Yeah.
I will.
My dad is. Sorry,
No,
I was
no,
just
you
gonna say
go.
my dad's not. They're not like. They don't complain. They like to like embarrass me specifically, like because I don't
Awesome.
go out to eat with them too much. So when I do, it's like a big deal, and they love to make a big thing out of it. There was once recently, like a few weeks ago, we went out to eat at this Italian place, and the waitress, I recognized her, and I opened my big dumb idiot mouth and said that I recognized her, and my dad was like, "All right, so talk to her." So I don't remember exactly what you're gonna talk to her, and she shows up, and he says something like, "Oh, my son recognizes you," or something like that. It was Rachel from Edison. She also goes to GMU.
Oh my god.
Rachel, probably not the one you're thinking about.
Is it the one that I'm thinking about?
I just said it's probably not the one you're thinking about. So I'm gonna say
I didn't
no.
hear it, so
Okay, yeah, probably not the one you're thinking about. No. But yeah, I was like, "You go to Edison, right, or GMU?" And she was like, "Yeah." And then she goes, "You're Armin, right?" And I was like, "Nope, I'm Yammin. We hung out a lot though, him and I."
practically
So
the
that
same.
was-
There could not be
Yes.
two more different looking people
Yep.
than you and Army.
Yeah.
How your names aren't even the
God.
same.
Yeah, I remember Mr. Henryson.
Dude,
used to,
fucking psycho.
Dude, Armin and I sat next to each other, and he would get us confused to the point where when he handed back papers, he would put them between our desks because he didn't know which one was me and which one was Armin. He would put the papers literally like right on the divide of our desks and have us sort it out.
Did you think he would mix up like who has the worst grade? So he would be like, Armin, you gotta step it up. And it's just like, but I'm doing well though.
I'm Yammin. I'm Yammin, sir. Oh God.
God damn. I was gonna.
Hey,
my
Mr.
parents
Henderson was
also make-
fucking crazy.
He was crazy.
My parents make that stupid joke that they'll hand the clean plates back to the waitress or waiter, and they'll be like, "As you can see, we didn't like any of it." And like the waiter will be like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry," and then they'll be like, I'm just kidding. Of course, it was
we're
delicious."
just joshing you.
And I'm like, they do it every time. They've been doing it every time for 21 years.
Every time you go to dinner with them,
every time I go to dinner with them, which is
I would
less and
stop
less
going to
these
dinner
days.
with them. If they
It's
did
gotten-
that once, I would walk out.
It's gotten better. I don't think it's happened the past few times, but yeah, it happens enough where I'm just like, please don't ever do that. Like,
I
that's
can't even
bad.
remember the last time I ate with my family.
Really?
Yeah, I just eat in my room.
Jeez.
I used to do
same.
that a lot in high school.
You
Mostly
ate with
it's-
your family other than that?
No, I would eat in my well, in high school I would eat alone a lot because I would get home really late.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm home from school, I've had a lot of like family dinners. Yeah,
Do you like your parents?
I like my mom and my stepmom, and my mom.
Figures.
My regular mom is also fine on her own because I eat with her and my little sister, so it's okay.
My regular mom is also fine.
I could never have a dinner with all of them because they'll kill each other.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
separately, I can't. It's all good.
That's divorcees, though.
Yeah, I know. It's really complicated. It's wild. I don't know. There's lots of funny stories I could tell, but basically, it's bad. And like, I don't even know how.
There's
what's
lots of
gonna
funny
happen.
stories that I'm not going to tell.
I don't know what's gonna happen once graduation happens this year because they'll both want to go and they both can't like be in the same room. So they'll have
Why don't
to,
they just sit at opposite ends of the auditorium?
Yeah, right. And then also like my grandparents want to come, but like my grandparents are also strange.
Is your grandmother going to stand up in the middle of it and complain?
I really fucking.
Why
hope.
didn't he get 2 diplomas?
Exactly.
Say his name loud.
There's an Enye over the end.
He doesn't have enough sashes. Where are the sashes?
Is that what your grandma sounds like?
No, she's like Hispanic and like also Eastern European. It's like
Why'd
a
you
really
make her
hard
sound like a
accent to
chimney
nail down.
sweep from
'Cause that's
1920?
It's the best. It's the best.
We're the
impression I can do.
sashes.
Sound like she'd been smoking for 35
I like to sound
years.
like the old chocolate lady from SpongeBob. It's like obsessed with chocolate.
Chocolate. She looked like a sperm.
She looked like a fucking,
She looked like a deep fried sperm.
she looked like a fucking
Yeah, I can
spinal
see that.
cord, which I think was the point, is that she looked like a spine and brainstem. That's all she was like down to, basically.
She looked kind of like she was made of like the guy from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Meatwad.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I need to look.
Michael's impression of him made most of the entirety of every video that he was in for the first like 3 years of him being on Achievement Hunter. So fucking funny.
Patrick, you had a poop logistical thing you wanted to explain before all this.
What?
We were talking before the podcast.
Oh yeah,
you said
so. My sister will come visit us, and she has 2 daughters, and so she'll bring like baby wipes that are like flushable, and she left some of them, and now like I use them. And normally when I shit, I have to take a shower afterwards because I just don't want any. I want to be clean. I want to be super clean every time. And they've changed my life. I don't have to do that anymore. It's
so
awesome.
You don't have to go on and take a full fucking shower.
I don't actually take a full shower. Both of you says like, oh, that's
you said you take a shower.
No, I mean,
what else am I
I'm
supposed
taking
to
a shower. What I mean is,
I understand. I understand.
waist
I
down,
understood
I'm
the
taking
first
a
time
shower.
too. Yeah,
Okay.
I understood the first time as well. That it still seems just a little extra. I don't know.
when I have the opportunity to be clean, I'm going to be clean.
Well, what do you?
Yeah.
So you don't do it in public. Obviously, you can't.
No, I don't. There's no showers in public, Alex. What the fuck am I going to do? I do it at work sometimes. I do it at work sometimes.
You come out bare ass out of the stall.
I go to the
hobble over
water
to the
fountain
sink.
and I take a
Yeah,
shower.
and you just splash it on you.
Alex.
And you
Where the
try to,
fuck
like,
is a shower in public?
Oh god.
take a very
It's called the sink.
waist down sink shower, and you try to like flip the water up into your bum hole to like thoroughly clean it. That's what I'm imagining here.
You know a humor that I've never enjoyed? Fart and poop humor. I thought it's always like really gross or like not funny.
And burp.
Burp
Burping
humor
isn't
as
funny.
well. Just fart jokes. It's like, oh, the funniest thing in the world is a fart. Nope. It's not.
I don't know anyone that's legitimately
we're not-
said
we're
that.
not
It's
doing
like
that.
like Austin Powers movies and like Sacha Baron Cohen movies is just like fart and dick humor and like have you ever seen the he was in a movie with it was like spy movie except the Brothers Grimsby. Do you remember when we went to
Sasha
see
Baron
that? Yeah.
Cohen.
And then we walked out
And
of
then
that
we
one.
walked out of it because there was an elephant that had like cum in it or something, and they were both.
No, he
trapped.
came out of the elephant's butt. He was literally in the.
No, there was a
elephant.
vagina.
He was, or whatever. Came out of the vagina. He like.
And
climbed
then an
out.
elephant who was coming up to the elephant they were inside of was starting to fuck that elephant, and they got covered in nut. And that was probably the end of my life as I know it. Not a good movie at all, and the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
I can't believe
It was
Yammin
a celebration of like mediocrity and like gross crap. It was like Idiocracy.
That movie's kind of good though.
It is kind of good, but this is bad.
I'm surprised Yammin was
Good.
convinced to go see that movie.
So it was my idea, I believe.
Oh, that explains
Patrick
a
wanted to
lot.
see a good movie. Patrick wanted to see a good movie, and I was like,
10
I don't know.
Cloverfield Lane.
A good
Yeah,
movie.
we ended up watching.
We ended up
it.
walking
We did
out of
end up
there
wa-
and going into the 10 Cloverfield Lane theater.
Yeah.
Strolling right over.
Yeah. Yeah. I just I don't like going to movies, so like I have to really want to see it, and I like comedies, and that was one of the only comedies.
Okay.
It was.
It's
shit.
amazing that
We walked out.
you have to really like going to see a movie, but you didn't even seem particularly excited by the trailer. You were like, yeah okay, that looks good. But it didn't
Yeah.
it didn't really look that good. It looked sort of mildly okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like your interest in movies has been piqued slightly more since then.
Patrick came into his life.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah, I'd say that's true.
That's true. Okay, because when you messaged the group chat and you sent a scene from like the Avengers or something, and you're like, "Which movie is this from?" And I was like, "Yamin, I'm surprised you care at all."
Yeah, no, I remembered why I don't like I don't know if I just don't understand the concept of that movie or not.
Which movie?
But
Civil War.
Civil War.
Oh.
I don't like the idea. I feel like Iron Man and Captain America should have been switched.
Hmm.
Like the sides.
Like they're really.
Well, I feel like you have to know Captain America. I know, like, from on the face of it, I totally get what you mean, because Captain America's a soldier. He works with the government.
Yeah.
But coming off the back of Winter Soldier, Shield, the organization Shield with Nick Fury and stuff, it gets taken down because there's corruption, and it's Captain America that does the taking down, and he just wipes the slate clean with them, and he walks away, and he becomes a nomadic soldier.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's sort of anti-government after that. He just lost a lot of trust in the U.S. government. So
why? I mean,
Iron Man
Basically,
also
thing-
has a motivation of like wanting to he's guilt tripped in a scene. I can't spoil it because it's a very important plot point.
Okay, and I might watch it.
So
It's
Captain
really
America, he's basically the ultimate like conservative, like idealist person who doesn't believe in like big government and stuff. And in the case of Captain America: Civil War, the reason for their split up is because of like government overreach, so to speak. It makes sense when you watch the movie.
They want to put a leash on the Avengers and have a council of United Nations representatives decide when they can go in and when they can't, because a certain event takes place where they think the Avengers are sort of running rampant without any.
And Tony Stark supports that.
He does,
yeah. Because
doesn't make sense.
I know, but in the movie, he's sort of given like this, and he's had
ultimatum.
This before.
Okay,
not an ultimatum, but like you saw in all the Iron Man movies where he sort of developed this anxiety, and this is sort of like the same like thing where he's rubbing his hands. He still sort of like has this mental weight on him, and it just piles it on in this movie. And it's like he's got a very strong heart, but like he feels guilt like tenfold in this movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's honestly, Civil War is probably the one movie to watch before.
I still didn't like the airport fight scene though.
I like it. I think it's
looked
cool.
kind of dumb.
The only part that's dumb is when they're running directly at each other. That's it.
Dumb.
After that's cool. They're just like tumbling and tossing and stuff, and it's great. I like it.
Every time I see Falcon, I just want him to take those fucking wings off and put on an Iron Man suit.
Why doesn't everyone just have an Iron Man suit?
It's a video you should watch for it.
Okay, speaking of superhero related things, there's another Joker movie coming out, but not with Suicide Squad, Jared Leto Joker.
It looks more art house and more niche.
Yeah, so it's Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix, who's one of the best actors working today. Her, one of my favorite movies of all time. The Master.
Gladiator.
Great movie. Gladiator. Dude's in everything.
He's also
great.
in the Sisters Brothers.
Who the fuck this dude is?
Oh yeah, that's the Sisters Brothers, that new John C. Reilly movie.
John C. Reilly, yeah, that looks so good, and also Jake Gyllenhaal's on the movie. I think it's a star-studded cast. Joaquin Joa, so Joa Quinn Quin. Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
very weird name. He used to be. He was the brother of River Phoenix, who was in I think Stand By Me.
Is that a real thing? Actually,
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
River
that.
Phoenix, and then when he was younger, he was named Leaf because they had very hippie parents.
That makes sense. I'm gonna view the movies he was in. Yammin. I'm trying to find the most like.
I like how
I guess.
when he was a kid, his name was Leaf, and he was like, "All right, I got to make a change my name to something normal, like Joaquin."
Yeah, I recognize him from Gladiator.
Yeah.
So
that movie's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched it, but I recognize it.
Never mind. Shut up.
I mean, I've never watched it. I know I haven't.
You've seen about 8 movies.
I think.
That's true.
That's being generous. Yeah.
I mean, if
all the Iron
what do you guys?
What?
So it's before we count the movies I've seen. So there was a trailer for it, like an actual trailer.
For what?
Or was it like that little?
It was like
teaser,
a social video teaser.
Okay, never mind.
There was also a little clip of like him getting off a train, and there's a bunch of people running away, and him wearing a Joker mask. It's very Heath Ledger bank heist Joker.
Okay.
You didn't see the
so
Dark
you think
Knight movies,
he's gonna do the role justice?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
do you think about how he looks? Also,
looks
that's
great
why I'm
to
talking.
Me. I like it.
Looks very new.
Okay.
It's like
it reminds me of Cesar Romero, and I can't remember his name. He was in the hotel movie where he's crazy.
I think it is a good. You mean Jack Nicholson?
Yep.
Yeah.
He reminds me of that. He's a mix of Cesar Romero and Jack Nicholson's Joker.
Yeah, agreed. And he has that also like he obviously I think still has a Heath Ledger quality to him, but in his own way completely. But the thing about Joaquin Phoenix is that he refused to do superhero movies for so long that when I heard that he signed on to this movie, I was like, that was the biggest eyebrow raise. I was like, oh, Joaquin Phoenix wouldn't sign on to a movie unless it was really fucking good. And also, he wasn't getting locked down to do other movies, right? So this is definitely going to be a one-off because Joaquin Phoenix doesn't sign on for like franchises or whatever. So he must have read the script, must have thought it was amazing, because usually he only does weird, high concept, prestigious stuff. So my hopes are up. Like this is
exactly
definitely not up his alley. Like this guy, this is one of those actors that is kind of like above all the superhero stuff. Not to like make that sound pretentious, but like actors typically do kind of categorize themselves as like, oh no, superhero movies are beneath me. But more and more we're seeing that kind of like fade away. And this Joaquin Phoenix becoming the Joker thing is a big threshold, I think, into that. So that's tough, why I'm so excited.
Because like, I mean, when the first trailer dropped for The Dark Knight, everybody said, Heath Ledger? The fucking Joker? What? And then the trailer dropped and people were like, fuck. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill myself. That looks amazing.
I was obviously like too young to like remember people being mad that Heath Ledger was the Joker, but like what were people mad about exactly?
It was, they just, well, I mean, they it was back when, you know, all the gay panic shit was still around. So it was like, oh, the Brokeback Mountain guy. What the fuck? Bleh. But, it was like a lot of, they looked at all the roles he had. He was in A Knight's Tale and Brokeback Mountain and a couple others, and they just sort of thought like, is this the guy that we want for Joker? And people were very concerned that he was also Australian, so people were like, he's going to be the Joker? What the fuck? It was weird. And also when you look at him, he doesn't look like the Joker.
Yeah.
The guy himself without makeup, he's a very pretty, you know, looking like a male lead actor. And yeah, it was great though, obviously.
I just found this old article that like lists all these like reactions people are having, saying it's probably the worst casting of all time. Oh no, it's wrong on every level. Heath Ledger. Let's reminisce on the days of A Knight's Tale and 10 Things I Hate About You. Heath.
Oh yeah,
Joker,
he was in that as well.
Yeah, he was in like a bunch of like teenage rom-coms and stuff. So like
that movie's great.
I can understand why this was like concerning to people, but at the same time, it obviously ended up being one of the most iconic performances of all time. And I don't think it's
informed so many comic books after that.
Like people, like it's become so iconic. I don't think that's an overstatement because it's become a little tired at the same time. I think people have just kind of like dragged it through the mud. There's so many like YouTube clips, recreations with like Lego of that scene, recreations in like TF2. The fucking posters, the Why So Serious, the really shitty cosplays that you saw on Facebook back in the day. So yeah, obviously it had a cultural impact that was huge and unprecedented. So they obviously made the right decision. So I wouldn't trust fan backlash for anything. But so far so good with the Joaquin Phoenix stuff. I haven't seen anyone complaining.
It looks very subtle.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's like leaning into like him doing an impression. Not that we've heard his voice or anything, but just like his face and his expressions, like it just sort of seems like he's being his own Joker rather than being like, all right, here's my impression of Heath Ledger or Cesar Romero or Jack Nicholson or anything like that. It's just like, I'm gonna be my own thing, and it looks great. And I think I said this to Matt Post when I was talking about the movie. I sent him like a couple clips, and he said it looked good, and I agreed. But I said like you said, where he's sort of like a very picky guy, and he doesn't work with just anything. He's not the person who could be slid a sack of money and then just sort of like, all right, I'll work on shit. It's like he probably really cares about the idea of a good Joker movie. So that's really exciting to me.
Exactly.
So is this a Joker movie or is this a Batman? Like who do you think is going to be
the protagonist?
The Justice League? Yeah.
I honestly have zero idea.
So
I hope the Batman.
So what we know is that this is totally separate from the Justice League, Batman versus Superman, all that stuff. Not even in the same universe, so to speak. Which is weird
Batman
and confusing.
It's not going to be Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do Batman at all.
So who's going to be the...
So, yeah, who stops him?
It's weird because Batman does exist in this universe technically because someone is cast to play Thomas Wayne, Batman's dad.
In this?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Remember
so
Alec Baldwin?
weird.
Remember Alec Baldwin?
Alec Baldwin
was
is
cast for
what?
A day? Yeah, for a day,
wait,
but then
so
he was
do you
like,
think
"I'm
it's
not
sort of
doing
like
it."
Jim Gordon, maybe he takes down the Joker for the first time.
I don't know. The actor currently cast his name is Brett Cullen.
That's Jim Gordon.
No, that's Thomas Wayne according to IMDb. Yeah, so he exists in the universe, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of tease. But what doesn't make sense is that right now the DC universe is in a whole fucking mess.
It's in the trash.
You got Henry Cavill allegedly like not wanting to do Superman anymore, right? Trying to leave that role. You got Ben Affleck not wanting to be Batman anymore for a long time, and like his movie is up in the air.
He's playing Geralt now.
Yeah, exactly. Every DC movie besides Wonder Woman has been pretty bad, underperformed.
And then Aquaman looks like ass.
Yeah, Aquaman remains to be seen. Doesn't look super promising. I like Jason Momoa as Aquaman though. Like I don't think
People do not like him.
I don't think the casting is the issue actually for any of these. I think they're all good. It's just the writing is garbage for all of these movies.
I disagree about that.
With the casting?
I think that
Fight.
no,
Fight.
it's not the. What did you say exactly? You said that there's nothing wrong with the casting. It's just sort of the writing.
Yes, exactly.
I think there are other problems.
That's exactly.
Like there's just choosing the look of a universe. The Justice League is not supposed to be an extension of Batman's vibe, which it's sort of what it feels like because it came.
That's absolutely what it feels like.
It's like this very dark, somber crap, and Wonder Woman was a shining light in the middle of that, and then it went back to the crap. And Justice League was very depressing and annoying. And what makes Batman's vibe interesting is it contrasts with the Power Ranger colors of all the other members of the Justice League because he looks very
that's true.
He's dressed completely in black and he looks like a fucking demon. It's just like I don't know.
That really stands
I think that's
out.
why.
Sorry, Yammin.
That's why I asked. No, because that's why I asked about the Joker. Because I want to know what this Joker movie is gonna be like. Because if it's gonna have that Batman vibe the whole time, I'm not super interested. Because that's never appealed to me. The dark dream. Yeah, it's not just that. It's like just like you've described it. It feels like everything around Batman has this sort of theme. This like dark, dreary, and it's nice to see the contrast with the other members and. That's what I'm thinking about. If this movie is going to be like a Batman movie, I'm not as interested as if you told me there was some other character taking lead. If that makes sense. No, that's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know if this is going to feel like a Batman movie or if this is going to be some kind of unique Joker experience. I don't know.
Well, to be honest, that's something that we don't know about still.
Right. Right.
Is Robert De Niro still in this movie? Oh no, I don't know.
He's producing?
Martin Scorsese was producing for a while, and I know Robert De Niro
was
cast to something. Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, Robert De Niro is in the movie.
Scorsese?
Yeah, De Niro's in the movie, but I don't know what he's doing. And so is Zazie Beetz. Zazie Beetz is also in the movie.
He's in the movie. I don't know what he's doing. He's in there somewhere.
He's in there. He doesn't have a name next to his.
Selling coffee in the back.
The hot dog vendor. Yeah.
The last movie that Robert De Niro was in. It was like
was it the Zac Efron one called Bad Grandpa?
No, it was a grudge match with Sylvester Stallone, I think.
Oh, it was a while ago.
That old man movie.
Yeah, it was like a crossover between Raging Bull and Rocky. That wasn't technically an official crossover or whatever. But yeah, I think it will be its own unique Joker thing in a way, but you also can't expect it to be like too separated from Batman. It'll be dark. It'll probably also be a little weirder. Like there's not going to be any like criminal, like detective work, for example. He's not going to be fighting crime, obviously. And we're going to see him turn into the Joker, basically. So I don't know how that's going to go. But so far, looks pretty good. The director is Todd Phillips, who I think he's worked in like DC Comics for a while. But his history of work is not promising. He is the producer for all the Hangover movies. And the director, he's the director for all the Hangover movies. He directed War Dogs, that comedy with that was Jonah Hill. It was good, actually.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Okay.
I didn't like the guy who works alongside Jonah Hill. I hate that actor so much.
Oh, Miles Teller?
He's the most annoying person.
I don't fuck with him too much.
I'm sure he's a good person.
What
but
is
him
this
as an
movie?
Actor.
His whole
War Dogs with Jonah Hill and Miles Teller.
Fuck, I'm seeing the pictures. I don't remember this.
They're about they sell arms and ammunition to terrorists.
Yeah.
Is it funny?
I thought it was funny. I liked it a lot. It's had a lot of gifs of Jonah Hill come from that movie. Whereas like one where he's like just tired and he touches his eye and it just like reminds me a lot of customer service.
Okay.
But yeah, everything Todd Phillips has done is like a comedy, and not even like an exceptionally like well received comedies, except for like maybe The Hangover. Like people like.
Maybe this is going to be funny.
I think it will be. I think that would be pretty interesting, actually, if it's like a really dark, like funny thing. Like he's like killing and murdering people, but
I mean, the Joker
it's
has
funny in a way.
jokes, but
Yeah,
it's sort
I
of
mean-
like the things he says is like,
Yeah.
oh,
The Joker has jokes.
I mean, it's as
I know what you
ironic
mean. I know
as
what
that
you
is.
mean.
Is like when people like see him in movies. Oh, he's a fun gangster, sort of like he doesn't take things seriously, and he says morbidly, funny things. It's like I just shot a guy. What a blast! Ha 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 ha. And,
Yeah.
put her there, and then he gives someone a shock buzzer.
See, I think that would work if he did it in a kind of like Heath Ledger did a little bit of that in the party scene in The Dark Knight. Where it was kind of like
Very poor choice of words.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Joaquin could easily do like a
Joaquin.
shock buzzer thing and like kill someone that way and like laugh it off and just like move on. Like I think that would be really cool to see.
I think I've talked about this before, and that should just be the catchphrase of this podcast now, but for me at least. But Yammin's whole thing about Batman is sort of started to come across with me. Like, I'll watch him in animation, and I like seeing him on the big screen with like Christian Bale's version because he's more of like a very well resourced detective cop sort of thing. It's very niche in that movie. It's like that version is hard to nail down. Like, how do you make a guy seem like he's sort of above being just grabbed and arrested by 6 people? Like, how do you make him seem like he can't have that happen? And it's hard to do that live action. So it's hard for me to suspend my it's like with the CW shows when people are like running around on rooftops and they just look like guys they in leather outfits. It's just like they just don't look like they could do fucking anything. And I'll accept it when it's in like games because you can just shoot the grappling hook and fly away and I don't know. Ben Affleck looks like a refrigerator. Like he's just like so heavy. And it's just like he doesn't look like he could do the things that like is going on. I'm not so talking about his weight. It just looks like the outfit's like too clunky and like I don't even know how to describe it. But it's hard for me to suspend my disbelief anymore with characters that don't have powers in those movies.
I remember the first when the first Batman vs Superman trailer came out and they showed Ben Affleck as Batman. I was hanging out with my then high school girlfriend, and she doesn't give a shit about the DC stuff. She hates it. She thinks it's stupid.
Smart person.
And the first thing she said as soon as she saw Ben Affleck in the suit, she's like, "That's one fat bat."
Poor Ben Affleck with his stupid tattoo.
Oh, no.
And I was so hyped for that trailer, and then immediately deflated.
You like that trailer?
The one with the voiceover was really,
I hated
really good.
every
dude.
trailer for that movie.
Oh, I loved it, dude. It was so fucking cool. I thought it was so cool, and then the movie turned out to be garbage, unfortunately. But I thought the trailer was good.
I liked the idea of Batman using a voice changer, and it makes sense to have him do that.
But the one in The Dark Knight is so bad. Like I
mean,
go back
yeah,
and watch it, and
obviously,
I'm
use
like,
a
I
different
can't.
one.
Like
It's
it's
sort
hard
of like
for me to get
it
over
almost
it.
sounded like in Homecoming when Peter turns on the interrogation mode and he goes like, and then Donald Glover's he gets webbed to the thing and he's like, no, come fix this. It's like I got ice cream in here, and it was so fucking funny. Donald Glover was great in that.
I wonder if they're going to bring Miles Morales and him back into the movie. I'm sure they will.
Maybe
in the
when
next one.
it's
Whatever.
weird because I always imagined Peter as when he meets Miles as he's an older Spider-Man, like maybe 26, almost 30, and Tom Holland is going to look really young for a long, long time. He's a very young face, and he's what, like 22, 3, 4, something like that. He's
I didn't
real life or in the movies?
in real life.
I don't
and
think he's
he
even
still
20.
looks very young.
Oh,
and
Tom
also
Holland's
he's
22
not a
years
very
old.
tall guy. He's pretty short, and that makes sense for the movie because you have to, have someone who's old enough to play a good Peter Parker and good at acting, but also looks young. So it was great for that as a young Peter Parker. But as he gets older, it's sort of going to be like he doesn't look old, and he sort of has a high pitched voice. It's like I'm not griping him as a person. It's just like as the fit for the mentor role that Peter Parker has with Miles. It's just like. It needs to be like someone who looks like an adult,
Yeah, I think they're planting the seeds now, though.
How?
Like 10. Well, the thing is, even 10
10
years from now,
years
Tom
from
Holland
now?
could still be Spider-Man 10 years from now. That's the thing.
No, it's just that he is whatever 21, 22. He's not going to get, and this obviously isn't the biggest point in the world to have him be taller than Miles Morales. It's just that whoever they cast as Miles sort of has to be shorter than him, because
Right.
it'll otherwise he looks like he's older, and there's going to be a weird balance because the imagery that I always have in my head from the comics and a few animated things is Spider-Man has at least a few inches on him, he's taller, and it just sort of makes you, it's like that easy thing that your brain does. It's oh, he's taller, so he's older, and he has a deeper voice, so he's older. It makes sense.
Is it supposed to be an apprentice type thing? I don't really know the relationship between Spider-Man or Peter Parker and Miles Morales. Is he supposed to look up to him and
He does. He idolizes him. He thinks he's the coolest, and he loves the idea of just helping people who are unable to help themselves, and has that same sort of thing that Peter says when he first meets Tony in Civil War. He says I think that if you have powers like I do, and then the bad thing happens, it's because you didn't do anything. So he didn't say with great power comes great responsibility. He sort of just said that's my motto. Yeah. And Miles, shares that belief, and he looks up to him, and he gets taught a few things, and it's a very cute relationship. It's very sweet and pure.
Okay. I don't know anything about Miles Morales. I thought they were completely separate.
They were.
I didn't know they ever interacted or were ever anything like that. I thought it was just this is a different universe with a different Spider-Man.
It was originally. He was supposed to be the Spider-Man of, I think, a few decades later. He's, after Spider-Man's retired or dead or whatever, he is the new Spider-Man, and he's got a whole list of other villains, and he, instead of fighting people from Oscorp, he fights people from Alchemax and all these things, and it's this different company. It's they had to have a big bad or whatever, and
sounds like a window cleaner.
It does sounds like Windex, and
yeah.
he fights Brawny Man. But Miles, then I think it's a shift in timelines. He ends up getting stuck on Earth 616 or whatever, the main Marvel continuity, and he gets stuck there. I like the idea of him just being another kid who was stung by a spider, and he has a list of different powers than Peter does. But I like the idea of him just having the same powers and just coming about when Peter is 26, and then he just suddenly becomes Spider-Man. And Spider-Man sees him as imagine
imagine a movie with both of them.
Exactly, it would be just puns and quips bouncing off of each other endlessly. It would be awesome.
And creative combat.
Yes.
Two Spider-Man's Peter Parker is always you said with the quips, and he's doing crazy shit, and with two of them,
making
so cool.
references to Star Wars and crap.
Oh
yeah. Oh my god.
That's what I was thinking. I don't think Miles Morales needs to
so
replace
well.
Spider-Man. I think they could easily just bring him in.
Up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, coexist.
And they also have total capacity to be, their own island and work as their own. The story of Miles Morales is so important for so many people in America. Just have that character, because I think there was one comic, I don't remember exactly which one, but Miles is fighting this guy that's taken down half the Avengers, and he swoops in, and the only reason he's able to dodge the attacks is his spider sense, because he can see things coming, and he eventually gets to take the guy down, and he's holding Captain America's shield, and it's just great imagery, and a piece of his mask got ripped, so people can see his cheek, and they see that he's got dark skin, and a reporter sees that. And it gets blasted all over the internet that the new Spider-Man is a young black male. It's just this is a huge deal. It's just it's a deal. It's a huge deal in the comics, and it's also a huge deal in real life. It's just awesome, imagery. It's awesome. It was so cool,
dude. Damn, that moment, just even thinking about it, gives me chills.
It's awesome. It would work so well on the screen.
It really would.
It would work incredible.
I'm just imagining them what's a good example of this? Maybe. I don't know, The Incredibles, with Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible, when they're just sort of bouncing off each other in fights, they just work so well together after working so, and having two people with almost identical power sets, and just tag teaming, web slings, and just have everything, it would just look so good. Oh, even thinking about it now, heart palpitations.
Putting money on this, by the third Spider-Man MCU movie, Miles Morales will be in the MCU. Guaranteed.
I hope Tom Holland looks older.
They should just fucking super glue a beard to his face and hope for the best.
I like what they did in the trailer for Spider-Verse.
Yeah, the
how
animated
Peter
movie
Parker's
does.
a little.
Man, that looks
it does.
good.
It does. Do you see how Peter Parker looks older? That's what I mean. That's
he
the
also
sort
looks
of relationship.
homeless.
He does, and I like that a lot. They didn't have there was a comic book where Dr. Octopus took over Peter's body and like created this tech company, and like create a bunch of technologies based on Peter's designs, and then Peter gets his body back and he names the company Parker Industries, and it's sort of like, oh, a high and mighty Spider-Man. But I like a Spider-Man who's a little down and out, and he's sort of struggling. It's like, that's the appeal, because he's like relatable.
He's an everyman. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Spider-Man is really cool. For a while there, I was like really soured on Spider-Man from like 2000, from like Spider-Man 3 to about when Tom Holland became Spider-Man. I was just like, Spider-Man's not cool. And like it took a while for him to like re-enter into my consciousness as like, oh, this is like actually one of the most popular superheroes in the world, one of the best superheroes like ever created.
It's still to this day my favorite superhero. And also like I was so worried that Homecoming would be bad, but then I went to a theater in the center of Manhattan and saw that movie, and then walked out and like looked at all the imagery of New York, and I was just like, this is the coolest thing in the world. I'm so excited. And then I had the same exact feeling playing through the Spider-Man PS4 game. It was so perfect, exactly what I wanted from a game like that.
Yeah, did you see the post on Reddit where the guy's like, I thought this building looked familiar, and it's like he's got his phone aimed at the TV at the Spider-Man game, and there's like a building, and he turns to his right, looks out the window, and it's the exact building. It looks exactly the same.
They really
right out his window.
They really painstakingly crafted New York. It was so. I almost never. And this is a cool feature. You can finally in the game, you eventually get the ability to fast travel, and it just cuts to Spider-Man on the subway, and he's like talking to a guy next to him. It's very awesome, and people just think he's like cosplaying or like one of those crazy people who stand in like Times Square and dress up. So he just sort of casually sits on the subway. It's really cute, and I never used it after that because swinging is so much more satisfying. Like I'll go from like uptown, the tip of the island in Manhattan, all the way to the downtown bottom, just because it's fun. It's so good, that game.
So I'm gonna ask about some spoilers just because like I'm not gonna play this game for a few months and I'll probably forget.
I haven't finished it yet.
Well, I'm sure you still know more than me. So
Yammin,
from what I understand,
have you gotten to the game, Yammin?
So are we calling spoilers right now?
Yeah, spoilers for the Spider-Man game. Do not listen anymore.
3, 2, 1. What point have you gotten to?
I just fought Rhino and the Scorpion guy. I just beat them.
So, Pena, what's your question?
So, from what I understand, there's a bunch of like Marvel references throughout the whole thing. Like you can see Avengers Tower, Jessica Jones, Doctor Strange. Do you ever actually get to talk to anyone else or like directly mention anyone else? Like, are the Avengers directly referenced?
Avengers are mentioned when there's these things that you can do. Like you'll take pictures of monuments and you'll get a little bit of experience and a little point. If you take a picture of like Avengers Tower, he'll be like, oh, the Avengers are all on the West Coast or something like that. Like West Coast Avengers as a reference. And he'll reference stuff, but it's never in the story. So it's like offhanded stuff that you might not hear if you don't catch it.
Okay.
You take a picture of Doctor Strange's place. He's like, something strange about this.
Yeah, it's always
place.
been a strange building or something like that.
God.
Cool window, strange building.
So okay, well that's a little bit disappointing, but that's all right.
It is. But it almost doesn't need them because Spider-Man is so. The whole game is so perfect on its own. Like having another character would almost clog it because there's just so much. It just shows that they can make one character who has not the craziest, biggest, enormous like roster of villains and stuff. It's just like he's got maybe 10 villains, and there's less than that in this game. Like it's just like perfect, and he did it all for just one little character. So if they had like Iron Man, they would have to extrapolate him just the same way, and it would just be too much.
Oh man, imagine an Iron Man game like with the level
of
detail
Iron Man game like
as
instead
this
of
Spider-Man.
I played the Iron Man game that came out for like the Wii back in the day, the first and the two. I was a little kid, so I like didn't understand that games could suck, but that was like so fun to me. Like flying around, like blowing up terrorist camps or whatever.
It gets old in like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Wait. So does Venom show up in?
No,
he doesn't show up at all.
He does not.
Carnage, no one.
No.
Okay, so it's pretty much you get what you.
You get
from everyone I've seen in the promotional material.
And this is sort of a spoiler, but you get the Sinister Six and one more.
Mr. Negative, right?
Yep.
Okay. I can live with that.
Which is pretty much Spider-Man's rogues gallery.
I don't know who that last person is.
You don't know who Venom is?
No, you said.
Yammin, you know Martin Lee, the guy who's all like white.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Mr. Negative.
Oh, Mr. Negative. I didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what I heard.
Did you hear the N word?
No. I don't know what I heard, but I was like, I didn't recognize that name immediately, so shut everything out because it must be a spoiler or something. Yeah.
So there's no. Is there like a hint to a sequel? Do they set up anything?
They could easily do a sequel or just DLC. I'd buy.
They're doing DLC.
Yeah, they're doing one for Yammin. Have you done any of the Black Cat stuff?
I haven't gotten them all.
Okay, yeah.
So like I have done.
You get a suit for that once you do all of them. So you might want to.
Okay.
But
yeah, I'm getting there.
It's just that like the DLC could do any of the numbers of characters that you sort of get little teases of, and I would desperately want them to do one with Yammin. You're up to the point where you've done stuff with Officer Morales, right? Yes. And you've gotten to the one where the mayor has that rally. And the event that occurs there.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So you know that Miles Morales is in the game.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So there could easily be something to do with him in DLC, and that would be so fucking awesome.
That'd be lit.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all well.
Oh wait,
go.
Wait, hang on. Before we move on from it, you know what character I think is really interesting and cool? I don't like the way he looks, but just the concept. Was it Taskmaster? Is that his name? That's a crazy good concept.
I forgot to bring up him, yeah.
He watches and learns and then uses whatever you do against you.
He has the ability to mimic any fighting style that he sees. So anyone. Except for Deadpool. Idea. The only person that he can't replicate is Deadpool because he fights so erratically and he never does the same thing twice. So it's kind of
Taskmaster looks like Skeletor.
He does.
Yeah, he does. He's
just a mercenary. He looks like he's like this game's Deathstroke from the Arkham series.
Yeah.
He literally looks like Skeletor.
The more you fight him and the more you do his challenges, which are the best way to get upgrade points, he'll come in and fight you once or twice, and then he'll start to replicate moves that you do more often. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's my web swing. Is like, I'm gonna go get content copyright strike.
It's cool.
That's sweet. Okay,
it's a cool concept.
Let's move on to fan mail. We got quite a bit. We're always getting lots of letters these days, so I really appreciate it. This one is from Rory. Hey dudes, love the podcast. I have 2 questions for you. I live in Scotland and was wondering how college works in America. It's free here, and you go at around 16 or 17. My other question is, do any of you speak any other language fluently? So college is a big bag of shit in the United States. It costs tens of thousands of dollars, which you either have to go into debt for.
Private college.
Exactly. And we go after we're 18 generally. That's like the general age people start. As for speaking any other language fluently, I speak basic Spanish. It's pretty bad, though. I wish I knew it a lot better.
I understand it better than I speak it, though.
Same, exactly. I can understand it pretty much perfectly, but I can't speak it.
2 languages.
I'd say I speak Arabic fluently. Probably less Spanish than you two, but I'd still say I can understand Spanish here and there.
Sweet. Thank you for your
Gracias por la biblioteca.
Rory, we are on the same country right now, so good to feel so close to you right now. It's a force field.
Weird thing to say.
This one is from Elizabeth. Hey dudes, listen to your podcast. Even though I don't really have any knowledge on a lot of things you guys talk about, I can't understand why.
I don't care about any of the things you're talking about, but they're really interesting. Maybe that says something about how great we are at talking.
True.
That can't be it.
One of those things being video games. So, guys, sorry about the Spider-Man chat forever. Just wanted to ask wanted to ask what about them attracts you the most? Is it getting to be a protagonist in a story, maybe an escape from normal life? I ask because I've never had a huge interest in serious games or TV for that matter and get bored of them easily, while a lot of people could play for days. I don't know if it's just intriguing. Anyways, love y'all's podcast. Have a great day. Elise.
Sometimes it's a power fantasy. Sometimes it's just like exploring a crazy cool world. It's a lot of things.
That you've never seen before, like that hasn't ever been done before.
Having a lucid dream where you're doing something really cool, but then you're ripped away from it. But with this, you can operate it whenever you want. Like with Spider-Man, most of my awesome dreams that I have are being Spider-Man, and now I have a game where it's literally just a Spider-Man simulator. So that's one aspect of it. But I couldn't describe to you all the reasons why I love video games. storytelling,
Yeah, I mean,
gameplay.
Exactly. I was gonna say there are lots of different. Some people love the story of it. Some people like the interaction with other people, like playing on a team, competition. Yeah, there's lots of different appeals.
Just like with chess. I mean, it's much simpler, but it's just like it's a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally, I just love getting like lost in a story and like playing as a character in a story.
Yeah, I don't care about story. That's the thing with
Sometimes
me.
I care about story.
Like
I most always
a lot of
care
times
about story.
I'll skip cutscenes like first time around.
In RPGs and especially like strategy games or simulator games like City Skyline or like Civilization, I can get really into like the number crunching. I love like making my character like the best they can be, or making my city or civilization like the best and most efficient they can
my
be.
brother loves those games, and I could never understand it.
No, I fucking love Civ. Civ and City Skyline was my latest addiction for a while. Where you just build a city and like try to run it. It's just so it stimulates some part of my
like
brain.
games like that.
It stimulates some weird part of my brain that just loves like building and organizing and just
Money
seeing
management.
things grow in front of me.
Have you played Prison Architect?
No, I need to. That's why
You
yeah.
should. I feel like you would.
People
love
say
it.
that's like
I
one
feel
of
like
the
you would
best
fucking
of
love
those genre of games.
That's so good.
It's on my list for sure. I see people talk about it all the time, and I have not played it. I really should though.
The only time I ever played a game like that was when we had economy, and I had to play that stupid fucking game.
Dude, I love
I
that
hated
game. This is it. This shows like the difference in. I would play that game outside of class.
I
like,
killed
would have,
so many of those
I'd have other
characters.
class. I mean, I would have it down to like a strategy where like I know it was supposed to simulate like life, but I'd have the fridge stocked with like 1,000 meals that I wouldn't have to go, and I would just have the time running at like times 10 speed.
Yeah, do you remember when you came over to record one day and I was laughing really, really hard because my little brother told me about how his friend was playing that game and he played it so terribly.
Yeah.
He bought like 40 beds and someone came and robbed him and like stole his fridge.
Oh man, yeah. People steal you gotta have insurance. That's
It was
a lesson
so
for
fucking
insurance.
funny. And it was, oh my
God.
God, I have never laughed so fucking hard. I was like literally laying on the ground where I am right now.
Yeah, dude, getting like robbed in that game is great because it's like there's no like animation or anything. It's just like you're looking at your house, 1 second everything's there, and then like it's all gone.
He also he didn't let his character
you have an empty
sleep.
house.
He had an hour of sleep and then 9 hours of
yeah,
exercise.
you could schedule it, bro. If you didn't have the equipment, like if you set like an hour for like rest or like entertainment, yeah. If you didn't have like a TV or anything, you would like stare at the wall for like an hour.
Just doing the fastest jumping jacks in the world.
Oh my God.
And then he had him go to work for 13 hours, and he came home and slept for 1 hour. And he got robbed like 40 times. Just a description of that. Oh my God.
Doctors hate him.
Oh my God, I'm in pain. You just showed me the little video of the kid doing like the jumping jack so fast and then immediately laying down and sleeping for an hour.
Oh God.
Oh, that game sucked so much.
Was that, what? That was like on y'all's like school computers. And
Yeah,
stuff?
I think it was like some like
Yeah,
scholastic
it's like for
thing.
finance.
We would just play like Galactic Pinball or whatever.
Lucky you.
Galaxy
We played shitty
Pinball.
games like that.
Thank you for your email. I hope that answers your question. The more people I can get into gaming, the more.
What
I feel
question
like I've
was it
liked
again?
something.
Oh yeah, video games.
Yeah. Why was
What was
Was
the
it
question
about
again?
jumping jacks?
The question was how many jumping jacks could you do in an hour, and then just went
Maybe
on
if that was
tangent.
confusing to whoever, but the game involved a lot of you have to block your time for activities like to remain healthy, and that's basically what I was talking about.
Yeah, it was because there wasn't that many. It was like work, sleep, exercise,
Recreation.
eat, and recreation. Yeah, and you had to you had 24 hours. So like
No recreation for
sleep
you.
for, like,
sleep for an
Yeah, you
hour
sleep
and then
for,
do
like,
9 hours
an
of
hour
jumping
and then-
jacks.
exactly.
Because in the game, you technically had to sleep at least 1 hour. It was so infuriating to him, so he was just like, fine, you get 1 hour of sleep, and then you're going to jumping jack school.
Jumping jack school.
He had nothing in his apartment except for one bed. He didn't even have a fridge because someone stole it. What's the next question?
I found the game.
Next email.
Are you going to play it now?
I just might.
This one is from Riley. Hey guys, love the podcast. Lately I've been listening to it in study hall with my headphones on, of course. Always laugh real loud and get lots of strange looks. I do have a question. I'm a big fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I
Same.
heard that they are making a new season of it on Netflix. I'm so stoked. I'm like the only one in my school who likes goddamn cartoons, mostly because most people in my school are shit and don't like things that aren't Riverdale. So fuck them. Just want to hear your thoughts. P.S. I heard the podcast last time, and you mentioned someone did donuts on a lady's yard. I had the same thing happen to my school. This guy tore up most of the sports fields.
Maybe it was the same person.
Probably. So yeah, Netflix is making a live action version of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh God.
And personally, I'm not looking forward to it.
I'm not either.
The live action versions of
animation is
else,
not required to be adapted to live action. It has never worked ever. Don't ever do it.
They did. Netflix has tried Death Note, Full Metal Alchemist, Bleach. Someone did Attack on Titan. I don't think it was Netflix. They're all terrible. They're all absolute garbage. So I have no.
Why would you
want
to do that? I feel like you're just limiting yourself, aren't you? When you go from live action to animation, you can do so much more.
You can do literally anything.
Real, literally anything. Yeah. But then you're going from this world where anything can happen into this limited space. I don't know.
All I want is another series about the avatars. Like I love the original, love Legend of Korra. Give me the next. Who's the next Avatar? Who's the next one in line? That's all I give a shit about. I don't care about live action anything. We tried that, and it was absolute garbage.
It says like what the mainstream thinks of animation to say this this is a cool story, but it doesn't work to general audiences because they don't appreciate animation. So it's like it has to be live action. It's like it's just sort of like disregarding the value of animation. To make sure you say, well, I mean, the only way we can translate it to regular, how will their minds conceptualize what they're seeing?
Like the other thing that kind of pisses me off, even animation today, 2D animation is like on the out and is being replaced with like all this really shitty and annoying 3D like CG animation, and it really bothers me.
Voltron is pioneering the industry at the moment.
Yeah, like, and apparently like kids now, like when they see 2D animation, they're uncomfortable. And they like their 3D is like our 2D basically. And I was like, really? Like that's so like when I can get used to 3D after a while. But like even if I'm watching Star Wars: The Clone Wars, which is great 3D, super high quality, looks fantastic. If I look at the old, really really old Clone Wars series that was like on Toonami back in the day,
it was
that
so
was 2D
good.
and it was done by the dude who did Samurai Jack. Incredible.
It was
like,
so
not
good, right?
even on.
Do you remember the scene with Mace Windu when he just went fucking berserk on all those droids?
Yeah, when he was just like
super powered god.
The weird thing about that series is that everyone was overpowered as fuck.
It was awesome though.
It was
sweet. And then you think about that quote from him when he says, we're keepers of the peace, not soldiers, and he's just like fucking lifting all the droids up and crushing them with his god hands. Awesome.
And to be honest, he's killing robots, not people, so it's okay. It's all right. Next email is from Renee. This is a person who recently bought an Xbox and 4K TV and stuff from last week. I don't know if you guys remember that. Hey guys, on the new podcast, you said you felt bad about giving me you guys money because of everything going on with my family, but don't worry. I have a job and I've been working at since I was 14 and I've been saving money for years. I just rarely make big purchases. So like I said, don't worry about anything or feel bad about me donating and stuff like that. I love that I'm donating to a really great cause, and $7 isn't a big deal considering how much I work all the time. Thank you so much for the game suggestions. I will definitely try out. Can you guys hear that fucking motorcycle?
That was weird.
That was, yeah.
It was a John Wick.
Problem living in the fucking city. Thank you so much for game suggestions. I will definitely try out Assassin's Creed Origins, and thanks again for creating such wonderful content.
Thank you so much. You're very sweet,
Rebecca.
That's how I spend money. I found that like I don't spend little by little all the time. It's like I'll be like, I haven't bought clothes in forever, and then I'll go and buy a billion.
But you buy like Taco Bell every day.
Food is the exception.
Except you don't need to buy
food is the exception. Are you gonna come to my house and cook me food?
Will.
Are you gonna bring me food?
You say that like I won't do that. I would run to your house.
Budget.
But yeah, that's how I budget my like. It's like I'll buy nothing. Like I'll have the same phone for like 3 years, and then I'll buy like a really good phone.
Buy it for life is an awesome subreddit. Like I have the same boots that I've had for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, like the weird thing is I'm always having to budget for stuff because I have expenses, especially now. Like I have to like buy my own groceries and like pay for like the subway, and there's like lots of other stuff to think about. But then other times, I'll also be incredibly irresponsible and spend $300 on a Nintendo Switch or an Xbox out of nowhere. Because I'll be like, I'm about to start working and I'll start having money soon. Or like, oh, I can take this hit from my savings because like I can rebuild my savings over the summer when I'm working. I really try to outlogic myself. But all my savings right now are about to be depleted because I saved up specifically to be here in Europe. So
damn.
We'll see how far I last. Things are way more expensive.
Dude, I've been spending money because have you guys seen the Twitter page Fat Kid Deals?
No.
Oh
Is
my
it
god.
funny?
It's deals that are, it's not just like food and stuff like that. It's just deals on anything, and it's ridiculous. It's like things that you don't think you would ever need, but when you see a deal like it, it's like, I gotta cop that. That's a steal. Recently I saw, it was like a 24 pack of pink Starburst things for like $10, like 24 sticks. Like,
why would you need that?
Like, because it's $10,
what?
Dude. 24? It's $10. Hey, let me hang on. Let me pull it up real quick. See what else.
You guys speaking
I'm not kidding.
of Starburst and like Skittles and crap. Are you guys one of those people who doesn't like a kind of the Skittles? Like, I don't like the yellow ones. Same,
no.
right?
There's definitely ones I like more.
But it's not like,
I'm
not gonna eat the yellow one.
No.
I hate those people.
Let's see. What is it? Oh, a chair for 60% off?
A chair?
Yeah, bro. 60% off, though. That's the thing.
What is the price?
It's like, you ever...
Is it like a desk chair? Like a table chair? Like, what is it?
Ergonomic gaming chair.
Oh.
$95.
$95. So 60% off of that?
Yeah.
It's not so...
Okay, that's not the greatest
like
thing. It's just like...
It's...
I don't know. You just go to... The point is, it's like, you ever seen a Steam sale where it's like, this game is like 60% off or 80% off?
Yeah,
and you're
I know
like,
what you mean.
I would probably never play that game if I saw it normally, but for that price, maybe I'll play it one day and you buy it.
Xbox or
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like that. Jeez, look at two memory foam pillows, just $15.
All right, Alex, what's the next question? Yam's going to be at this for a while.
This one is from...
While I shop on here for a little bit.
This one is from Deb, I think. Sup, listening to the pod on the cusp of drunk, so ignore if it not understandable. To I am your kidneys. Anime is fun, and it shows you are receptive to other cultures and experiences. Coming from someone who went to high school in rural Jamaica and was super into anime and Japanese culture, I could only relate to 3 other people in the entire school at the time. Live your life and go to comic cons. I love this man. This guy is fucking great. Or this girl. I'm not sure. There's no name. Really love the podcast, guys. Yammin is social acceptable me. Patrick is drunk me. And Alex is who my parents want. Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks for the laughs. Thank you, Deb needs sleep.
Thanks.
That's what your Google username says. You didn't sign off, so that's your name, Deb needs sleep. Really cool to have fans from Jamaica, though. That's neat.
Neat.
Neato. Okay, this is the... which one do I want to read first? I'm going to read the short one because there's a long one after this that is a little thoughtful. This one is from Teddy. Okay, so... yeah, of course I'm going to go see Captain Marvel because I'm a fucking slave to the franchise at this point, but like I have to see it. Also, more movie questions. Did you guys see that Tyler, the Creator, is making the soundtrack for the new Grinch movie? Fuck, I'm excited, and that is the only reason I'm going to see the movie. If you guys haven't heard the song in the trailer, I highly recommend it. I feel like the fact that Tyler's doing the soundtrack is going to bring a whole different group of people, and I love that. Anyways, thanks for being fucking funny, you guys. From Teddy. Thank you, Teddy. I've heard people talking about
Thanks,
this,
Teddy.
and I actually haven't given it a listen yet, and I feel kind of bad about it. But if it's dope, if it's popping, I'll go see the movie.
I don't know. The animation sort of... I'm starting to sort of get disillusioned with that look of animation. It just reminds me of like Despicable Me and the Minions and crap. And I don't know why, but it just doesn't look appealing anymore. It's like that has been done. It's like that medium. It's almost like a medium of its own. That sort of like very fluid 3D animation. It's like it looks good objectively. Yes, it's good, but it's like I've seen it. I've already seen that movie. You know, I mean, it's obviously a new story that makes total sense. It's just like the medium is unappealing. So I don't know.
Yammin,
And
stop
also, I'm
sending
not
me
really
deals.
particularly interested. I'm not really particularly
Bro,
interested
look
in
at
the
how-
Grinch.
Look at how good.
What are you fucking doing?
Top-rated large.
I was
air
just
fryer.
sending him so we could talk about him later. 45% off, dude. You never
For
knew you needed an air
$60.
fryer until it was 45%.
You ever want to
off.
buy 50 rulers?
Oh, this 3-piece luggage set for $60 is actually pretty good.
$60. That's really good,
Pistachios.
right? Yes, bro. If you really like pistachios, that deal
A
is
new
really, what is it, like
juicer for
45 packs for like
$32.
$10.
An
Yo,
office
24
desk
packs
for
is
75,
kind of
starting at
insane.
only
They're so good.
$87.
Don't listen to them, listeners. Go to Twitter. Fat Kid Deals.
Toilet paper.
Wait, I need a new op- I need
96
a new
rolls of toilet paper for $20.
$20. That's
96
free.
rolls of
That's
toilet.
free.
Where are you gonna put that?
Who
It'll fill
knows?
up your house.
Who cares?
You
At
could
that-
TP
at
every
that
house
price-
in America.
Yeah. At that price, you could
4
buy a
pack
place
of
to
iPhone
store 'em.
cables with
Shit.
lifetime warranty, only 9. That's actually a really good deal.
We could give all of
Nine-
Africa.
yeah, they're all
3-foot
really good
cables?
deals.
No, hang on.
Yeah, I mean, wait, you calm down.
God damn, I love a good deal.
3-piece luggage set. Wow, these look like steel fucking things.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by Fat Kid Deals, but if Fat Kid Deals wants to sponsor us, you know where to find us.
Top rate. I mean, they don't even need a sponsor because they're making so much money.
Yeah, that's true.
They're probably making a bunch of
Top
money.
rated large air fryer. Air fryer. The
Yes,
fuck
sir.
does it fries air?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, air fryers are a
Two
common thing.
2+ pounds of Cheerios for under $4.
How
Come
much
on.
do you like
Come on.
Cheerios, though?
Come on, I
Your
don't.
house
but
is
I'm
just
just
going
saying,
to be
if
full
someone
of
does,
the largest quantities of
okay,
crap
listen,
that you use sometimes.
Here's the thing. I brought this up because like 90% of this stuff I don't care about. But every once in a while I'll be going down my timeline and it's like 20 packs of Starburst for $9. How could I not buy
Is this an algorithm or is there like a monitor of people that do like check it? Wow, 239,000 followers.
I have no idea.
Donald Trump just had like an hour and a half long news conference talking about all the sexual assault stuff, and we totally missed it because we were recording this, and I'm so happy that I missed it. I'm so happy, like
I found it.
perfectly aligned that.
Clothes
okay.
steamer for
Yammin, stop
$10.
fucking
Okay,
deal
that's the
shopping,
last one.
boys.
I'm done. I'm done. Get 50 Tampax flushable tampons for only $19.
$19.
I don't know if that's a steal, but
So I think it's
it
a
must
steal.
be
50 of anything is a lot. 50 of
50?
anything for $20 is
for $20.
Look at it, listen. The 24 pack of pink red Starburst for $13.76, and then someone commented, "Why would you do this to me? I've already bought the 60
Right?
Scooby snacks and the box of 100 Airheads."
Bro,
Why do you need
that's
that?
such a good deal. That's
But
such
the
a
deals
good deal.
add up. You're gonna buy 100 billion Starburst.
Ah, it's fine.
100 billion
I'm fine.
pink Starburst.
I've bought like 2 or 3 things.
Like
from
what?
this
What'd you get?
Because of this page. Let me see. Let me pull it up. I'm trying to
I was
remember.
worried it was gonna be like some third-party weird shipping service, but it's just Amazon. That's like cool. Yeah.
It's Amazon. It's
I don't
want
want to follow it, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it now.
VC for
dude. Overwatch is only $12.
video game. Yeah, Overwatch is on Fat Kid Deals too.
Dude,
The way
these
you
gaming-
said that makes
these
you sound
gaming
like you said
chairs
something
are
worse.
These gaming chairs are really calling my name. I've been looking for a new chair for my desk at home.
Right? Yeah. Wow.
If you buy it-
Might as well get a
Fat Kid
new
Deals
You
desk
is
could
on
cool.
buy it
Yeah.
and then ship it to my house, and I'll go and set it up for you.
Honestly, yeah. I'll let you in. Oh, Pat. You'll be happy to know, although you shouldn't be because it's terribly rude. My dog, Coco, the one that shakes a lot,
Is she
the
dead?
small white one, she has cancer.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so you can't make fun of her until now.
I mean, it's still gonna
Okay,
happen.
until
It's
she
just not
dies.
as often.
Yeah.
I don't think about your dog.
I always think you think about them in ways to insult them.
Yeah, I
next
fucking
time
write
you talk to
letters to them and tell them they're stupid and ugly.
them. Oh, God. Okay, moving on. Gonna read this last email, and then we're done. This one's from Shelby. Hello, my name is Shelby, and I'm an 18-year-old from Clanton, Alabama. I'm a huge fan of the podcast, and I've been listening for a number of months, but I honestly couldn't tell you exactly how long I've been listening. In episode number 61, you guys started talking about the Nike advertisement with Colin Kaepernick and the whole controversy around it. I actually recently did research on it for an analytical essay for my English 101 class. That's a fucking in-depth essay for an English 101 class, but good for you. Personally, might not agree with the method itself that Colin Kaepernick used in order to protest, but I admire what he is standing for. When it comes to the people that are burning their Nike brand clothing, they're idiots. Seriously. What good will it do? Sell it. Give it to people that actually need clothing. You don't like them? That's fine. But what you're doing is literally dumb and not going to do anything. As a matter of fact, Nike sales went up by 31% after the advertisement was released. Imagine the fact that we live in a world where an athletic advertisement is more controversial and talked about than a school shooting.
Their sales went up 31%?
Yeah. It was either their sales or their like
31.
Their stock went up.
Their stock went up like
Jesus
6%.
fucking Christ.
Their whole total company value has gone up 6% since then.
31%.
It boggles my mind.
Dang, it's like being a good person sells. Oh.
It boggles my mind how people that live here in the southern United States with me, not everyone, but the minority is louder than the majority, would rather fight over what is racist and what is not, rather than fighting for the ones who truly deserve it. If we truly deserve it, does that mean who deserves to be racist? I'm sure I'm reading that wrong. If we as a nation focus all our energy combating things like police brutality, racism, rape culture, gun problems, and situations of the like, there would be no need for a name brand to take the stand to be that a decent human being should already subconsciously be making on a day-to-day basis. In conclusion, Colin Kaepernick may not be my favorite person, but he's opening up a dialogue that is extremely important for us to listen to. Times are changing, and we don't need to adapt to the hatred, but combat it. We don't have to go full-blown social justice warrior or anything, but we should be open-minded to others' issues and strong-willed enough to stand for what we believe. Anyway, enough of my tangent. Much love to everyone. Shelby. Shelby, that was beautiful. That was really profound.
That was actually that was her paper. She sent us her paper.
I swear to God, if you copy and paste this bullshit, I'm gonna fucking run this through this email through Turner.
I'm gonna find your blackboard. And
I'm gonna fucking. I swear to God, if you copy and pasted this, I'm gonna tell your professor.
It's when you're talking about like Colin Kaepernick and stuff. It's always these Fox News hosts who bring up like football players who take a knee, and this is like these ungrateful people. It's like ungrateful. That's a very weird choice of words. It's like grateful for what? They earned their career. You're talking about them like they're spoiled children. Exactly. It's like we've allowed them. It's like ungrateful. It's like it's just a very like you're so obviously racist. And, like,
it's not enough that you were handed this position in the highest ranking football league in the
They threw it at you. They delivered it in the mail. It was just like, yeah, okay. Let's let him be a football star. Let him. Why are you so ungrateful? It's just like these fucking cunts in their stupid goddamn chairs spewing hate. I hate them so much.
Yeah, every time this comes up, I think about a post that I saw a while back where something like racism is so American. When you protest racism, people think you're protesting America.
Yeah.
And that's every time I think about this, it comes up.
Exactly. Thank you for your email, Shelby. Very well worded.
Gracias.
You're not going to get in trouble, don't worry. All right, we're at an hour and a half, and that means...
I'm glad you reassured her. She can sleep
exactly.
at night now.
It's time to thank each and every one of our beautiful Patreon patrons. If you don't know, we have a Patreon. It helps support the show, helps pay the bills, helps invest towards a better equipment down the line. If you want to subscribe or join, whatever, you can literally give us $1. Give us a penny. We'll really appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. Right now we have 12 beautiful patrons. We've got Cassidy, we got David, we got Aaron, we got Everso Joe, we got Jake, we got Katie, we got Marianne, we got Monty, we got Pip Pap Scallyweb, we have Rebecca, we have Tara, and finally we have Jessica. Thank you all so much. You're all
thank you.
Incredible people. Would not be here. We would actually still be here, but we were
here before them.
Greatly appreciate you putting.
We would be much less happy. We would be probably very somber.
Exactly.
And Pena would have left because he's a greedy.
We'd be
bastard.
like Batman.
Exactly. So thank you all from the bottom of our hearts. If you want to support us on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/PrudeDudes. Throw whatever you like our way. If you reach that $5 tier, we'll send you a personal thank you. We're in no position to set up like more tiers at the moment because I'm in a totally different country, and they are
not even necessary
doing
at the
this
moment.
stuff. Yeah, at the moment, I think we're satisfied. Just kind of a donation basis of like whatever you feel like you want and can give. Feel free to give it. We appreciate it, bottom of our hearts, no matter what. So thank you to all of our beautiful Patreon patrons, and thank you to all the people that have also been rating the show on iTunes. We're at 126 ratings now. Climbing the ladder, and I've noticed definitely in the views and downloads we've been getting more and more each week consistently. So it's really exciting to see the show grow from where it was a year ago. Latest review comes from a lovely individual. Let me just fucking pull this shit up. I have to scroll all the way to bottom every time. Latest review comes from someone named gay fear.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure I was
Alright.
reading that right. Super sweet. Cinnamon roll, podcast dad, and conveniently unattractive. No, conventionally attractive, but emotionally unavailable.
Thanks.
That's who hosts the show.
Don't call Yammin conventionally attractive.
But he is emotionally unavailable, admittedly.
What if Sheila was like switching around like each of the things? It was like conventionally attractive, emotionally unavailable. The emotionally unavailable is like Alex, and then the emotionally Sheila is Yammin.
Who's the cinnamon roll?
Yammin, definitely.
Oh, for sure. Okay. So thank you. If you want to go to Patreon, that's patreon.com/Prude. Any amount helps. We love you so much. If you want to leave a rating on iTunes, that also helps the show, helps it grow. If you want to send us email, that's prudedudes@gmail.com. We'll make sure to read it. If you want to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, that's @prudedudes. If you want to follow us on our individual accounts, I'm at AlexPenna97. Patrick is at it's PatrickSharlto5. And Yammin is at @it's_Yammin. Thank you again for listening, guys, and we'll see you again next week.
Goodbye.